Oh my gosh, it's so annoying. I hate technology. Yes, here we go. Bring them on camera. Roberta. Yes.
Superstar! I did it!
Oh my goodness. Seriously, this is like the biggest accomplishment of
Oh
the
my
night.
gosh! How many ex-LuLaRoe consultants does it take to do a live video?
I mean,
I don't know, like 100.
yeah,
You
technology is
guys.
not my thing. So
Okay.
we are sorry. Or I am sorry. I'm pretty sorry right now. Oops. So we'll wait for some people to hop on. Looks like it's working this time. I'm going to have to hold my phone up. Let me put my iPad back or throw it out the freaking door or something. I might put it out the door. Okay.
Oh, okay. We're live.
Comments.
We're doing it. Sam,
Oh, shoot.
maybe it was the post approval. Because as soon as that happened, it worked. Maybe that's why we couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I think that's why.
I can't see. Yeah, it could have been the post approval. I cannot see comments. You'll have to relay those. So,
okay.
I think, how many people do we have on? 5? I'm just kidding.
So, I don't know if a lot of you guys know who Courtney is. Courtney was one of the first 25 mentors, people in LuLaRoe to hit mentor, which is the top rank. And she was the first mentor to leave. And so we became friends after this whole ordeal, and we've been talking and sharing our stories. And when she said she wanted to do this, I jumped at the chance because I think she has a lot of really valuable information, and I think she wants to share it. So,
yes.
Do you want to tell us how you introduce yourself, how you got started with LuLaRoe, et cetera, and go from there?
Okay. Well, I started in March of 2015, actually, like one day before my birthday. I ordered some clothes online pop-up. There was like maybe 500 consultants, and I got it, and I was like a 10, 12 then. So I felt then that I was fat and fluffy, but I was so excited because the 5 pieces I ordered fit me. So I actually called or looked around on the retailer map, and there was like not, hold on, let me turn this off. Okay, there was like not that many dots. So I was working in corporate America at the time, working about 60 hours a week and traveling. I worked in corporate America for 11 years, worked my way up, and I'm darn proud of myself on that. But I said, you know, clothing has always been my passion. Clothing and art. My mom was an artist, and my dad divorced, but he was a district sales manager for high-end clothing. So he kind of taught me about clothing and what's great and what's not. We'll talk about that. So I looked on the retail map, and I was like, oh, wow, one of my friends from high school is selling LuLaRoe, and she's about an hour west of me. And I looked on the map again, and I saw, wow, there's no one east of I-95 in North Carolina that sells this. Huge opportunity here, right? So I decided to have a party with her. She had never done an online party. And I was like, that's the only way I'm going to do it, because I'm kind of like an online person. She was kind of far away. And she showed me her profits after the party. It was $900 for one night. And I was like, okay, where do I sign up? And really? And I, yeah. And I told my husband how much it cost to join. He said no. And I was like, I'm going to. And he said, we're $500,000 in debt. Now, I'm very open. I'm very honest. We both had really good jobs, a decent house, nice cars, but I had twins that were in the NICU and owed $200,000 on those suckers. I had me, I'm accident prone, and had about $100,000 in debt from that, student loans and credit cards. So I went to the bank and thought they would like laugh me like all the way to the next bank. But I proposed a business plan, and I was like, here you go. I need like $6,000. And they gave it to me. And I was like, I'm not going to ask questions. I'm just going to run with it and run out of here. So I joined March of 2015. And like I said, I was working full time, traveling with my job at that point. And I thought, okay, where do I go to introduce this to people? Well, duh, do I spend all my time? Work. You spend more working hours at work than you do with your family. So I work for a global company, forklifts.
Fancy.
Everybody loves a good forklift, right? It was a great company to work for, but I'm going to tell you, I was in sales training, marketing, analytics, went up, rose up, but I wasn't passionate about a forklift. Now my husband, he is. Like, if there'd be a forklift rodeo in our backyard if I allowed it. But I was like, wow, okay, so this is clothes, and I'm passionate about clothes, and I'm kind of fluffy, so they fit me. So how I started, and like March of 2015 is when I started. That's how I started.
All right, so why then? You're a mentor in the company. You started early. You got in at the right time. You grew. You had a team. It was amazing. You're making all these huge bonus checks. You're going on these trips. You're doing all this stuff. You know all this amazing stuff. Why did you leave? Why did you leave? Like, what was your straw?
Okay, well, let's lead up to that. So I worked full time and I hustled. I'm not going to lie. It was work. And I'm one of those people that I'm not going to let myself down. And I'm not going to, obviously I had to pay the bank back, or they would have come and gotten, I don't know, a kid or something from me. So I have to hustle. And I'm not going to lie about that. It's not just turn quick money. And in August of 2015, I was like, I'm going to quit my job, because I became trainer, and I was making about the same amount of money as I was in doing LuLaRoe part-time. So whenever I quit, my boss was like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah, I don't like forklifts that much. The reason I quit too, Clay, I'm on the live video right now. Okay, bye, thank you. He goes, you need me to call AT&T to verify this? And I was like, no.
We figured it out.
Or he'll call Apple. Call Zuckerberg. Okay. Like, it's okay. So anyway, so my for quitting was I was at that point, I would say, doing I was doing part-time work for full-time income. I never advertised that, okay? But you've got to think, there was only like 1,000 consultants. So I was selling like 250 pieces a party. I mean, I was rolling. I was like a roll dog, And I quit because of this. When I was in corporate America, I had to ask for time off to even go see my son receive awards. And this is a picture of how he probably looked at almost every award ceremony, because I could never get the time off. And when I quit quit my corporate job, I went to he asked me on the way there, Mommy, are you going to be at my award ceremony today? I was like, buddy, I didn't want him to know I was going to be there. I was like, I don't know. Mommy just quit her full-time job. She's doing LuLaRoe. He's like, I thought you did that for us. And I was like, I did. And so I came, and I sat like 3 seats back, and I took this picture of him. And he was looking around. And looking around for me. And this is when he saw me.
Are you trying to make us cry, Courtney?
And I was boo-hooing, because it was the best moment of my life to be able to not ask for time off, to be able to do what I wanted to do. Like I said, I was a trainer then. I wasn't traveling all the time, and I could pick him up from school and take him to school. And it was just it was about family, right?
100%.
And no reason why. The twins were like a year old. They didn't even like figure it out. So you ask, well, okay, so what was your question? I'm sorry, I had to get choked up every time. Question?
Why did you decide to leave? I mean, we'll get into all of that, but let's start with the why you joined and why you left, and then we'll kind of expand it and we'll fill all those gaps in.
Okay, yeah, I think we need to fill the gaps in. But why I decided to leave is I told my team, and it took a lot of soul searching, and it was the biggest decision of my life because I was making a lot of money when I left. And it was funny because someone on my team made this video about how I just couldn't sell and handle it. And I wanted to be like, I'll show you my numbers. I'm fine. And now I was no like baller, like I said, but I was doing okay. But I did not have trust in LuLaRoe anymore. My values did not align with theirs. One of it is family. And you see this and you see this, and that was no longer happening. And that was my biggest reason. The other reason was, let me open my computer real quick so I can do this too. There were so many times I went to bat, and I was basically told, Courtney, shut up. Stop asking questions. Just be quiet. And I felt that that's not how a company should run. The onboarding, mass onboarding in 2016, I was a coach then, and I spoke up and I said, I will take a cut in my bonus check if you stop onboarding. And they were like, oh my God, no. They're like, because then y'all won't hit rank and you'll be all mad at us. And I was like, I don't care because I need leggings and, there's nothing available right now. I can't sell anything. So that's one of the reasons. And just, that's really something to go into, I think we'll get through that as we go through this interview.
So you left in when did you leave? October? September?
2017.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So you were relatively quiet and then you started speaking up. We met in December, I think, or late November, December, something like that. So why were you so quiet for those first couple months before you decided to spill the tea?
Well, I always told my team and to be professional because, like I said, I came from a corporate background, and that anything you do can follow you later in life. And so I tried to be professional about it. And I'll read you my resignation letter right here. I'll kind of go through it just real quick. Basically, I said, this email serves as my letter of resignation from LuLaRoe, my position as mentor within the company, effective October 2nd, 2017. I'd like to thank each of you for the opportunity to serve others and bless lives. The first year was very uplifting, exciting, and motivating for me, and I was happy to live and breathe the culture. However, I felt that my values no longer align with the current values of LuLaRoe. This has not been an easy decision, and I've given it much thought and prayer and feel like it's time to move forward. And then I stated what I was owed. I was owed my supplemental bonus check for August 2017, my bonus check for September. Let's see, items bought and paid for in Guatemala that were supposed to be shipped to home office and then shipped to me, the cow rug. Monetary reimbursement for all my credit orders that were not received, and I actually only went back to May of 2017 on those. If I had gone back to March of 2015, we'd probably be talking, I don't know, $30,000. And I said, checks and Guatemalan goods are to be received no later than October 21st, 2017, because everybody got paid on the 15th. So I was like, let me give them some leeway. I'll give them some leeway. And I said they should be mailed to my attorney. I listed his name, but made out to me. And I said, I also asked to keep this resignation private between myself and home office until further notice that will allow me to inform my team and customers in a professional manner. I asked that there be no defamation of character, libel, or slander from home office against LuLaRoe Courtney Harwood, which there was immediately. That wasn't in my letter, but that happened. Again, I thank you for the opportunity to bring over 100 of my friends into the organization and a team of 3,500. I'm grateful for the friends I acquired. If you have any further questions, all correspondence should go to my lawyer. I list his name with contact information listed above. Regards, Courtney Harwood. So I felt that was the professional way to do it. Actually, I texted and tried to call my sponsor for 3 weeks prior to that. She did not answer or respond because I felt that I owed her, I should let her know I'm leaving. And so about 5 minutes before I resigned, I texted her again and I said, I just want to let you know that I am leaving LuLaRoe. I sent in my resignation letter, and then my husband walks up to me and he goes, Grandpa died. And his grandfather had just passed away, like within 2 minutes of the resignation letter. And I got some of the ugliest memes out there about karma and death and all that. And I was like, I resigned. I wasn't terminated. How awful and ugly of some of you consultants to be that way.
Gross.
But obviously, news spread like wildfire. I still have all that screenshotted. So news spread like wildfire, but I felt like I was professional. I went live on my team page and I cried 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 because I'm a blue lens for people that know what lenses are. And I just basically told them that my values didn't no longer align with LuLaRoe's. I didn't go into anything. I didn't feel it was professional or necessary to do so. And that I would be turning the team over. They would be well taken care of, that kind of thing. And for 3 months, I kept quiet because I felt like if I kept quiet, they legally owed me the money. Legally.
Right.
I mean, this is otherwise. And that the quieter I was and the exit strategy that I took was professional, and that they would pay what they owed because, they're always looking out for us and doing what's best for us. Well, I decided to come forward when it is now in February, and I have not been paid for anything, but I have amassed thousands in lawyer bills because I had to contact my attorney, who they would send. Oh, this is the best part. Hold on. They sent a cease and desist letter to me like 2 weeks later, and it said I was going with this company that I never even went with, and that I was causing people to cancel their contracts with LuLaRoe. I'm like, huh? Like, I wasn't talking about it. I wasn't even taking calls or anything. And I was like dying laughing. So I called my attorney. He goes, are you serious? And he's like, send me the letter. So I sent him the letter, and he contacted their lawyers, Bill and Bob. And he said, you're supposed to send all correspondence to me. However, Courtney got this in the mail today. And Bill and Bob said, we haven't even seen a resignation letter. We were just told to send this. What world do I live in? I'm not quite sure. So for the next couple of weeks, they basically sent my attorney. I was in a meeting before with them where they said they could outlawyer anyone. Like, basically, you're not going to be able to afford to go against us, which they tried to prove to me. They would send my lawyer a P&P and say, read 5.7. And then a week later, oops, we sent you the wrong P&P. Read 7.9. And he finally said to me, Courtney, I cannot with a good conscience keep doing this and billing you for these hours because these are crooks. So we ended that relationship. I mean, he's still all, for me and everything like that. He'd set me up a payment plan where I could pay him, but I got referred to another lawyer in California who I'm dealing with now to work with them. So I know that kind of diverted from the question.
That's all right.
But
So I wanted to go back really quick because when you were reading your resignation letter, you mentioned that you were missing several bonus checks, that you're missing, whatever, the cow rug, all the stuff you got. Just quick math in your head, like how much do you think LuLaRoe owes you currently?
Okay, well, I am a numbers nerd. So every month, my sponsor's husband and I, at the end of the month, would calculate our bonuses because we could download and export it into like a CSV or an Excel file, convert it to an Access database. Every month, our bonuses were wrong. We were underpaid.
Now, is that company wide or is that just you?
That was me. That was anyone that asked me to do it for them. It was everybody. But you've got to think it was easier for me to see because my bonuses were larger. They weren't freaking huge. Don't worry. But if, let's say, someone had a bonus of $200 and they were missing 20, they probably didn't notice that, but I could notice it, right? So with the back bonuses that I'm owed, if they were audited back to March of 2015, I would say alone in that is probably close to maybe 100,000 in back bonuses if they audited. I am owed my August supplemental bonus check, which I have the screenshots for myself, Stacey, Christina. We're in the mentors group asking about the supplemental checks, which everyone got but me and her, from where we had the roll-ups. That's a couple $1,000s.
I got one of those checks. I remember that.
Oh, that was nice. I'm glad. Can I borrow some books?
It was like $230 or something. I'm like, sweet, I can buy groceries this week. Thank you.
Well, you know what? And we were the ones that spoke up. So we were kind of the black sheep. And I have all that correspondence. So they owe me that. And then they owe me my September bonus check because I worked out the month, put my heart and soul into it. I wasn't even going to resign on October 2nd, but something just told me to do it. So they owe me that. They owe me the back pay for the credits in the back office and the damages. Like I said, I only dated it back to May 2017. So if you're looking at all of that, a little over $100,000, and that's not accounting for that were incorrect. And we were also told on a mentors webinar the night that the 100% buyback was taken away, which I had no clue of, by the way. I didn't go to Salt Lake City. That if any mentor were to resign, to don't you dare send back your inventory. So I've got $75,000 worth of inventory sitting upstairs in my house. If anybody wants to come buy it, it's open house shop. It's like leggings for $5. I mean, I got some. So I had a little over 100,000, but then you've got to account for if they were audited, probably another 100,000 for back bonuses that were wrong, and then if you added my inventory, another 75,000.
So almost $300,000. Like if you were to dive into it, that's amazing.
Correct.
Okay, so
the other owed a bit. He's a little more than me.
So where do you want to go next? Do you want to talk about events, or do you want to talk about what do you want to talk about?
Well, let me talk about 2015.
Okay.
And see comments or anything.
Oh, let me really quick. A lot of people are asking why you can't send it back. So will you really quick explain why we can't send anything back?
Why mentors or just people in general?
Well, I mean, I can't send anything back. You can't send anything back. I mean, we can send it back, but LuLaRoe would say, oh, well, we paid you bonuses and your bonuses exceed what we owe you in inventory. So we don't owe you anything.
Okay. Two things. First of all, mentors were told we can't send it back. They would donate it or throw it away. Okay. So I'm not going to take the chance, right, to send mine back.
Right.
Second of all, the math that they do, if you look at an MLM, they have to refund you 90% of your money. And I love, like I said, statistics, analytics, and everything looking into this. They try to deduct your bonuses. If it was based off of sales-based bonuses, they can deduct that. However, until July of 2017, it was not. So anything before that they're deducting, legally, they're not supposed to. And that's where their math is, I call it LuLaRoe math. It's like
it's like words and contour
about this, because it's like one of those like calculators spits out paper. That's the math. And even I saw in an email once that this was the best way they knew how to do it thus far, and that they were working on it. And I'm thinking to myself, well, what about the people you've already screwed? Are you going to go back to them when you figure it out and, come up with your decision on how to do it? But if you look into the MLM and do some research, if they're taking away money based on bonuses before July 2017, legally, they cannot take away that money because that was front-loading inventory. So it's also interesting to me how all of a sudden that changed. I have friends that were coaches that got out just in time. They were like, whew, and got their money back. And then there was the 100% buyback. I don't know their math. I mean, +1 = 2. There's some things I don't know. And like they said, they are working on it. I don't know who they is, but I can't explain. I don't know. You know what? Guess who got an A in math for the past 5 years? We'll ask Jackson tomorrow. He'll figure it out. Don't worry. But yeah, I really have no answer for that except that you can fight that. I've already talked to the attorney about it. But the thing is that they can outlawyer you, as they said to us. So you're going to amass so much in attorney fees unless someone takes you on pro bono or contingency, which is what they hope you will do, is just try to get a lawyer and fight them until you're beaten down and you're out of money.
Jeez. Do you want to go into the coaches retreat?
Yes.
Let's do that. Tell us about the coaches retreat.
So
You told me this was your ding, ding, ding moment, right? Or one of them?
Yes, it was. And hold on, let me bring that up on the
Oh,
Facebook.
here's the other thing. In the very beginning, or not so in the beginning, but Art told something to Courtney, and that was what, Courtney?
He said we would talk, and he would always say, "Own your data, Courtney," because I would tell him something was going on, and he'd be like, "Own your data." Basically, show me
Right.
a screenshot,
Wanted receipts.
or right.
So what did you do?
And a lot of times I didn't have that to back it up because it would be just like a phone call, and I'd be like, "He said, she said." So guess what? I listened to Art, and I started owning my data. I saved every screenshot, every email, and I am in a one record state, North Carolina. So I recorded phone calls because it got ugly. So coaches retreat, I hit trainer in like September of 2015. I hit coach in January of 2016. I was invited to the second coaches retreat. So there was like maybe the other 15 have gone. So I was like part of the next 15. And I actually had 2 girls under me that hit coach too. So the 3, all of us were with. Let me read this to you. This might take like 2 minutes, but it's good. This is from someone I will not say. They work at home office. "Hey, Courtney, it's blank with the LuLaRoe events team. Checking to see if you're coming to coaches retreat in Vegas. I'm reviewing our list and see if you have qualified to come, but don't have your flight request. Please email to make sure you get squared away right away." And I said, "I have emailed Julie and Dawn repeatedly." She said, "Okay, if Julia has it, we are okay. Dawn is unexpectedly out of the office. I emailed them for like 2 months." I said, "Haven't heard back from Julia either." She goes, if you could email me, sorry, this is redundant. I want to get all rooms booked between today and tomorrow." She gave me her email, told me what I needed, what my airlines were, and we will coordinate everything. I said, "I'll forward my email that I sent," because I'd sent like 20 emails. She said, "Thanks so much." June 6, 2016, 7:53 p.m. I said, "Hey, Jen, I'm the last person in the world to complain, but I'm a little put aside during this coach retreat. I recently had surgery with complications of which I ended up in the hospital. One for blood clots, which I'm still highly susceptible to. I had asked to fly first class. Don't call me a style right now, y'all, okay? Because I needed the leg room. And I also said that I would pay the extra, like the difference in the trip. I was more than willing to pay that to go. I said, no one ever responded to me. And this is like months of never responding to me. I called yesterday and was able to upgrade on the way there, but because it was so last minute, I paid $800. Sadly, there's no first class on the way back, so I'm going to have to see if I can get on the standby list for another flight. I had also asked that since I was not bringing anyone, they knew I was not bringing anyone, and I will admit to you all that me and my husband, before I came into LuLaRoe, we did have marital issues. Our marital issues are our marital issues. My assistant likes to shout them out all over the world. But guess what? Everybody has their marital issues. He's done things wrong. I've done things wrong. We can admit it, right? And he was not going on me with the coaches retreat. So when I signed up, I said, just me, okay? So anyway, basically I just said, I was excited for this trip because I need to get away. But with all this, I feel let down. I'm not trying to play the victim, as I was trying to be the creator with my emails and had no problem paying the anything. Yet none of this has been addressed for months. He said, "Oh, Courtney, we apologize, blah, 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 blah." She goes, "I know you are due to leave tomorrow. If this is difficult for you right now with everything going on, we can put you on the December coaches retreat." well, obviously to leave. And I said, thanks for responding. I'm like, finally. I said, I already upgraded to first class on the way there and paid the difference, so I'm good on that. I spoke with American Air yesterday about my flight home, and even though first class is sold out, they're going to try and accommodate me because of the clots. And I'm just kind of trying to get through this. And I said, my circumstances are out of my control. I was speaking about my marriage. I said, but I have to make the most of what is. As for changing the trip, I still want to come. 1, the girls under me are going, would be disappointed. 2, I need a getaway. And I've already made arrangements between my husband's work schedule and taking care of the children. I also don't know what December will bring. He travels also with his job, and I don't be at that point in our relationship, so it's best for me to go now. Relax, enjoy myself, focus on me, and spend time with some wonderful ladies that I care deeply about. And basically, I won't go through it. Okay, so June 23rd, 2016. Hey, Courtney, don't worry about it. We're excited to have you and give you a break. We'll see you soon. That was at 1:06 p.m. EST. At 3:36 p.m. EST, I emailed her back her Facebook message. I said, okay, I'm confused. Stacy just reached out to me and said you all asked if she was wanting to change to December because she was the only single person going. She got this call today. Is it only supposed to be for couples this time? We're both a little confused. I said, could we have brought a friend? I didn't get any info or that I would have brought one. Courtney, this is the coach's couples retreat. It is a weekend that we have put together for you and your husband to celebrate your accomplishment with Deanne and Mark. It's time to take a break from everything together as a couple. You just tell me this? I was on the plane, switching planes. I said, this makes me so sad. Stacy cried, and now I'm sitting on an airplane crying. Not everyone is a couple. I didn't ask for my life to turn out like this. I have 3 kids, and my husband and I are still talking about things. My accomplishment is my own. I did it myself. I empower other women, and I was empowered myself by getting to the level where I am by myself. I mean, my husband would help some, but I said I would not have come had I known there was so much emphasis on the couple portion of it. So I'm on a plane. I went to RDU to Nashville, was crying the whole time. The lady beside me was like, cuckoo case, what's wrong with this girl? And I was like, I made up something. So I got to Vegas, and I actually came a day early and called Deanne, and she was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. She's like, it's so my fault. She goes, I looked on the list, and I saw that there was 3 single girls. And like, oh my God, this is going to be uncomfortable for them because they're single. And I said, Deanne, uncomfortable at all. Like, it's not that I'm single and not married. I'm just not coming without my husband.
Right.
And one of the girls was divorced. And I can't speak
This
for
is my
her
husband. He
story.
wants to be in it and say hi.
Hi.
He just got back
And
from
the
the beer
other-
conference. He's very excited. All right, continue, please.
So the other 2 girls ended up coming. We met the next day at the resort, and we got to the front of the line, and they had canceled our rooms. And that was when I was very, very sad. But I will say that they did accommodate us, and that Deanne found us rooms, called us down to a meeting, the 3 of us, and said, I didn't want y'all to feel uncomfortable being the only, quote, single people here. And I was like, Deanne, I was like, I'm not uncomfortable. Like, you could put me in a room full of chickens and I'll talk to the so it ended up being, everybody was really nice to me, like the other couples. I didn't feel out of place or anything like that. I mean, there's reasons that husbands can't go, military, or they can't take off from work.
Right.
So it was just, it opened my eyes though to see that they had called it the coaches retreat so long, and now it was the couples coaches retreat. The day that I'm flying out, transferring planes in Nashville. Like, what am I going to do? Hop out on the tarmac? Sorry, I can't go. Husband's working. But that was kind of the first thing I saw, that there was a lot of pressure for your husband to really be involved and quit his job.
Right, right. We also got that pressure. My theory is the more dependent you are on LuLaRoe completely, the harder it is to leave. So if your husband's involved and and you're 100% all in, it's harder to leave. And so,
well,
I feel like there's a reason that has your husband quit his job yet? I'm like, no, no.
Yeah, absolutely. If you put all your eggs in one basket, remember at the coaches retreat, we all stood around that night in a meeting and held hands, and we talked about, you said your name, where you're from, who your husband is, and what your last bonus check was. And I was like,
why?
This is weird to me because I came from corporate America and I grew up where you don't tell your salary.
Right. It's tacky.
To the other two girls that didn't have their husbands, I was like, hey, I'm Courtney Harwood from Greenville, North Carolina. I was like, don't have a husband, obviously, beside me. I was like, I'm married, but he didn't come, and here's my last bonus check. And I was like, Stacy, take it from here. I tried to be funny, and like I said, I had a good time. The people there that were with me were very nice and accommodating. The mentors that went, they were very nice and accommodating. So I made the most of what was.
So now that we're getting in there and kind of peeling back the layers of this disgusting rotten onion, do you want to talk about Guatemala? Do you want to really spill some tea? Or do you want to talk about maybe your mentor interview? Or
well, the mentor interview was before Guatemala, so I think that leads up to it.
Let's do your mentor interview then.
Okay. So when you become a mentor, what they implemented after like the first 10 mentors that hit was that you needed to come to California with your spouse. And I even said something. I was like, what if someone's widow?
Right, but 1 second here. Sam just said there are mentors and coaches that don't have husbands. I know several mentors and coaches that are single.
That are with husbands and ended without?
Well, that too. That started with and ended without. But that just are single, never married, don't have boyfriends, that are coaches and mentors that are going on these trips. And it's never been, where's your husband? So why exactly? People are dropping names in there. Jamie Bagley is a mentor that is single. Did they?
Well,
where's your husband?
Other answer for that, because she was told, because I was still married then, and she was told on the coach that maybe her husband, maybe they could move it to December, and she's like, there'll be some reconciliation, and she's like, I've been divorced for 7 years and he lives in another country. Probably not. And I believe, and I cannot put words into her mouth, that she said something about Jamie Bagley not being married or whatever. And they said, well, she was one of the first mentors. And I was kind of like, is that the excuse? I'm not quite sure. I have no issues with Jamie Bagley at all.
Right, no.
She may have issues with me now, but if you are married, there's a very much pressure to bring your spouse to everything, to the bathroom, to everything. So, mentors interview. It was myself. I had to bring my husband, even though we were dating at the time. Kim and Doug Roylance and Kelly and Troy fought. Kim and Doug went first with their mentor interview, and then myself and next. And long table out in California, we sat there, and there was a big box of tissues, and I'm thinking, I cry a lot. Like, I get upset a lot. Maybe that's why they put them in there. But for about 20 minutes, they talked about like my team and what I could do better. And, Courtney, you're way too available for people. You're answering the phone at like 4 a.m, which I would just do whatever it was, because I wanted to make people happy. I'm a people pleaser. And then they turned it over to, how is your marriage?
None of your business.
Well, in 2015, Deanne, I will say, in my opinion, was a totally different person. I called her Mama D. She was like a second mother to me. And so, I opened up to her that, me and my husband had issues. I didn't tell her anything specific, but it did get, hold on. Why are you slamming the door? Why are you slamming the door? Okay. Well, maybe not right now during the interview. Okay. So that's turn to next. And they looked at all of us, and basically it was like, why don't you quit your job, Clay, and stay home?
Okay, hold on one second. You guys, I know you love to go like emoji, 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 emoji for laughing and loving and hearting and everything, and we super appreciate it, but it slows down, and all of you guys complaining about how it's freezing, that's part of the problem. So the less floating emojis, the better. Thank you.
Because you're at the mentors interview. Roberta's husband just walked in and said, hey, you can walk over here and say hey if you want to.
Hey, look, I gotta take my pants off.
Over there.
Hold on, your husband's taking his pants off?
He's in the bathroom over there. I'll just shut the door like this. Oh, hi, Clay.
Hey.
So, anyway, so they kind of asked Clay about his job and what he did. And actually, him and I worked in corporate America together for 11 years, and he has really worked his way up. I'm super proud of him. And they asked about college degrees, and Clay was like, I had a couple years of college. I don't have a degree. Mark looked at me and he said, Courtney, do you have a degree? And I said, yes, in political science and English. Like that many
What,
things.
you want me to speak?
No, I don't want you to speak.
Okay.
You can go back to the garage.
I'm just saying you're speaking about me. I figured I could say exactly what Mark told me.
Well, okay. So then they looked at asked he had some college behind him. And then Mark said, well, guess what? I dropped out of high school and I'm the richest person in this room. No.
Yeah, so what Mark said to me was that a degree does not define you. With that, 100%. I don't think a degree defines anybody. And at that time, whenever we were at that mentor...
Here, I'll let him get in here so y'all can see him and all.
Okay.
Just, you can lean down. He's like 6 foot,
Sorry.
like 10.
At that time, whenever I was meeting with Mark and Deanne in California, the things that they said to me meant a lot to me. There was nothing that they said that I disagreed with. There were things that happened down the road that upset me, but it was not by talking to Mark and Deanne. It was by talking to someone that worked for them. And, I got laughed at whenever I brought something up. And that upset me like it was nobody's business. I'm from North Carolina. I don't mess around with nobody. I'm a good guy. I appreciate everyone. But if you laugh at me whenever I say something without giving me a reason why I'm saying it, or why laughing, then I've got a problem with you. All I did was question one of the practices they had, and he laughed at me, upset me totally. Mark and Deanne, I had no problem with. I appreciated things that they said to me. I felt like they were being real and true.
Let me interject real quick.
I may be wrong about some of the things, but I'm just saying.
Let me interject real quick. Clay said, I said, look, if Clay quits his job right now, he has really moved up in corporate America.
I was never going to quit.
Well, yeah.
I
said, and if he did quit in 5 years, what if something happened? He would not be at the level he is now without the degree.
Right.
Correct.
Say that again?
If you quit, that you couldn't go back into the workforce.
You'd have to start at the bottom again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. If I left the job, if I left the company that I work for now and went to go start all over, then yeah, probably I would have to start all over in that sense.
Right.
100%. Unless I went with one in the market that I'm in right now.
But I feel honestly like they do that kind of stuff because they're trying to put you in your place. They're trying to be like, oh, that's funny. You have ideas and advice. That's funny. It's this whole thing that they do.
I don't know. I disagree with you in what you're saying, but I will say that when Mark and Deanne had that conversation with us there, I felt like they understood. I felt like they understood where I was coming from, things that I deal with on a daily basis, and things that I want to see improve, and things that may have may have felt like hindered me from being what I want to be. They confirmed to me that they made me feel like those fears need to go away. That I did do my job well. I did do things well.
And see, that was his first time
and
really meeting
it's just because I don't have a degree doesn't mean that I can't be anything I want to be.
Right.
100%.
And I appreciated at that moment. I appreciated everything that they said to me, and I've got no ill will about those comments. Things I'm worried about.
You don't have ill will about Mark saying, "Well, I dropped out of high school and I'm the richest person in the room."
Well, when he mentioned how much money he had in Guatemala as a boy from Eastern North Carolina who had grown up on tobacco and corn, like it did not make sense to me that a man would say that to another man. Like,
right.
That's not something we talk about.
It's a narcissistic thing.
I don't expect to be. I'm just a guy that tries to live my life.
He's just a good old boy. All right.
But anyway.
We appreciate your speaking. You speaking, Clay. We really do.
Well, I'm real. I try to be real, and I don't know what's being said tonight, but
I mean, you'll hear it again.
I do know that I care about everybody individually. I hope that everybody has a great life, and that crap that they have to deal with work and stuff like that doesn't affect their life the way that it seems to have ours.
Right.
Nobody deserves what we have right now. Regardless of whose fault it is or what's going on, nobody deserves what I'm going through or what Courtney's going through right now.
No.
And that's period.
You can go use the potty now. Okay?
I don't know why this is going on.
He's
right
a
now.
6'5" softy. Clay doesn't
person.
understand like Facebook and all that kind of technology or anything. So anyway.
Someone mentioned down here.
Yeah, he's like, I make my calls on a duck hunt and a deer hunt. So I mean, me too. Right now, look at this. With my camo, I'm trying to hide.
So someone down here mentioned the whole 5-minute thing. I know that's like a whole joke in here, and we're always like, hey, get your 5 minutes in. And, because if you don't laugh, you want to puke. So I know you've experienced that kind of thing. I know I've experienced that kind of thing. So why don't you tell us what happened at the end of your at the end of your interview with the wonderful advice you were given?
Right. So, and they made Clay feel good, I will say, about not having a degree and that he could be anything he wanted. So that's his feelings towards that. But in my mind, I felt differently, which is okay. We had 2 hours. I'm sorry. Then they said, well, why don't we bring in Kim and Doug Roylance for some marriage counseling?
Are they marriage counselors now? I didn't know they got their counseling degrees.
They brought in Kim and Doug to talk to us about how if he quit his job, it would be better and blah, blah, blah. I can tell they're comfortable. I can, and Doug too. But at the end, Kim and Doug left, and it was, I'm sorry, this is funny to me. But Deanne was like, oh my God, who's next? We've got one more interview. It's Kelly and Trevor. And Kenny looks at Deanne. He goes, Mom. And it's like the first time I've ever heard him call Mom. He goes, it's Kelly and Troy, your best friends, not Trevor. Can you remember names? But anyway, they said, well, Courtney and Clay, you have 2 hours before we meet for dinner. Go back to your hotel, and Courtney, make sure you please Clay before dinner. We had double, like we are habitating, like, and they gave Clay a book, some book to read. We got back to the hotel, and he sat on his bed. He's like, boss, your boss lady said, come get this. And I was like, no. I said, I don't care what she said. He goes, what if she asked you at dinner? And I said, well, then she's the most unclassiest lady in the world if she asked at dinner if I pleased you when we went back to the hotel. So just for y'all to know, I did not.
You can't make this stuff up, y'all. Like, you just cannot make this stuff up. I wish that Courtney was lying about everything, but there's so many other people that have similar stories.
Facial expressions couldn't hide it. And during the mentor interview, they were saying, Courtney, you have RBF, which is resting bitch face. Okay, my whole life I've been told that. Okay, yeah, I do. My lips are bigger. I walk around, they're kind of a little puckered or whatever. Who walks around like this? All the time. No one. So she asked me to
cartoons,
a pin in my mouth and go like this for 5 minutes every day and look in the mirror. And that's how I be able to walk around and smile all day.
I can still frown with a pin in my mouth.
Well, but my facial, I knew they were looking, because I would, I mean, I'm sorry, my facial expressions are bad. I would be like I could, and I think that's one of the reasons I probably wasn't their top lister, because I can't hide my facial expressions when something so stupid is said. So stupid. So that was. We went to dinner. They didn't ask.
Peanut butter cookies.
Been done.
We got Girl Scout cookies in the freezer. Okay.
It was nice. They didn't ask if anything had been done. Got to the mentor interview. They asked everybody to clear all the wine glasses off the table because no one drank. Well, I drink. I'm 37 years old, but it was cleared. So anyway, that was kind of the mentor's interview. And my husband and I got marriage counseling and put a pin in my mouth. The end.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about, you want to do Guatemala, or do you want to talk about the skinny text messages? Which came first? Which should we do first?
Guatemala. Skinny text messages came first.
Okay.
So I was asked, actually, Sam was one of the people that called me to fly to Ohio, then to Indianapolis, Detroit, and then Chicago to speak. And I love to speak. I spoke in corporate America all the time. I probably have said tonight, but usually when I'm speaking, I don't say So I was like, yeah, sure. I was like, I'm excited about it. And they're like, all right, well, book your flight to, I told them I couldn't come to Columbus because they gave me like 12 hours notice. And I was like, I can come to Indy, book your flight. We'll reimburse you for it. Never did. And then you'll fly on the corporate jet with us to Detroit. And then we'll go to Chicago from there on the corporate jet. And I said, okay, great. I was like, well, my twin's birthday is Friday when I'm in Detroit. That sounds like people in Detroit. I said, so I really fly home that night. And they were like, you're not going to go to Chicago. And I'm thinking to myself, about family, they're turning 3. And I said, I can't miss that. So I flew home. Anywho, so I got up and I spoke at both of the events. I did Indy first, and then I did Detroit. And backstage, and Sam can attest to this, because I remember in Indy, Jan was ticked off because Sam was taking too long and pumping up the crowd too much, and he had gone 2 minutes over.
But we have 15 minutes to play rock, paper, scissors.
Right. Well, she wanted to get to Detroit because there was shoe shopping. So she's like, are you nervous? Oh my God, are you nervous? Are you nervous? So I had spoke in Raleigh before, and mind you, I was in corporate America for 11 years, so I spoke a lot. And I worked with forklifts with all men. So, I mean, I know how to speak. And I was like, no, not really. And she goes, do you need a Xanax? And I said, actually, I'm prescribed a Xanax. I already took one. And I'm not going to not lie to y'all. I have anxiety and depression. And for the past probably 10, 15 years, because of something that happened to me, I have had to take medication. I said, nah, girl, I'm good. I said, like, I'm prescribed to that. Went out, did my presentation, what else. So immediately afterwards, I mean, we were hustled onto the corporate jet, right? And it was nice, but I heard people talked about on the company plane that you would think they were mentors, and I would never have thought in a million years they would have been talked about in front of me, but they were. So I was kind of taken aback, but I just kind of soaked everything in. When we got to Detroit and checked into the hotel, and we're supposed to meet down for dinner in the hotel restaurant. So we did. And the menus came out. Of course, they said take away the wine glasses. We don't drink. And I wanted to be like, but I couldn't. So Deanne and Jordan were like taking the menus and being like, what should we split? What should we split? And I'm thinking to myself, are these people cheap? Like, they're talking about splitting meals. And I could tell again by my facial expression. And they go, Courtney, we had the gastric sleeve, so our stomachs are very tiny, and we cannot eat a lot of food. Sam was sitting next to me. He was to my right, and he confirmed that. I mean, Sam, I'm not going to throw you under the bus. All you did was confirm it. And so I'm looking around at everybody, and I'm kind of like,
I would have ordered the fried chicken. And I would have been like, oh, this is amazing.
well, I think I like chicken and like Atkinside or something. I ordered Brussels sprouts.
I love those.
Maybe one bite. I love Brussels sprouts, but they are good. So they were talking about the surgery, and Deanne was like, oh God, Courtney, you've got to get it. She's like, we had this great deal in Tijuana. You've got to go. I'm like, oh my God. She's like, we can fly down there. You get it done. You stay one night, and then you can come stay at my house, and then we'll fly you back home. Okay. Well, table to our left, there was some other coaches and mentors that have flown in, and Scott Knighting was one of them. I don't mean to call him out by name. I don't mean to do that. But she was like, Scott, oh my God, come over here. And he came over to our table, and she was like, tell Courtney about the gastric sleeve. And he was like, I trust this woman so much that I had it. And he showed me pictures of before and afterwards. Well, of course, I'm sitting there with like half a Brussels sprout in my mouth, and I'm thinking, hungry as shit. This is not what I'm talking about, but I'll just smile and wave. Smile and wave. So anyway, she goes, I'll get my sister in touch with you. I was like, okay. I mean, think about it, y'all. What are you going to say? No?
Yeah, you don't say no. Just so everybody knows, you don't say no. You just slink away.
Right. So I went back to my room, and I haven't told anyone this yet. I called because they did pay for the rooms, and I called down to room service, and I said, I need a bottle of wine, Pinot Grigio, delivered to my room. I was like, but I need to give you my credit card because the people that are paying for the rooms don't drink. So she's like, we can do that. So, I mean, it was like so like incognito, like how we did it. He brought a credit card slip and everything. I gave him a credit card. She came back, but I went to bed that night crying, thinking I am not good enough. I am not the image they want as a mentor. Now, mind you, I had gained weight. I mean, the Carly dress, I have to blame it on Carly. I love her, and she made me, that's her fault. But also stress. So the next morning we spoke, and that's when I did my whole, the whole Jackson speaking and doing this. And afterwards, I got on the plane to come home because it was my twin's birthday. And I was never the same person again. 1 to 2 days after I got home, I started getting texts from Deanne's sister, Lene, about, we're going to Tijuana in 2 weeks. Let's get you on the schedule to go. And I was like, this is a big decision. And my sister is very, very sick now. She's not been able to work in 2 years. But she was the VP of comm for the bariatric board. So I talked to her about it. She's like, they would not approve you in America. She's like, I work with Tijuana doctors. And she goes, and some of them are good. She goes, but you're taking a big risk. She goes, especially with the meds you're on. It wasn't just anxiety and depression. It was seizure meds too. And she's like, you've got to be monitored. You can't just stay there for one night. So I finally said to them, I said, and my sister said, look, Courtney, and my doctor said, look, Courtney, if you really feel like you have to do this, go get the Orbera balloon in the US. It's removable, and they put it in for 6 months and then they remove it. So it's much safer, and we can monitor your meds on it, my seizure meds. So the week before Christmas, I went and got that done in the US. And they had already added me to a group chat called the Tijuana Skinnies chat, where everybody that had gone to Tijuana talked about it. Well, when I told them I was going to get the Orbera balloon in the US, I got kicked off the chat. Actually, Sam got kicked off the chat like 2 days before me. I wonder why, but I don't know. He got kicked off the chat too. So I went and got the Orbera balloon the week before Christmas. I don't remember Christmas with my children. 2 days after Christmas, I came downstairs and I had no recollection or anything of Christmas. I could hardly stand up. I was basically spewing acid out of my mouth because I'd had no food. And I told my husband, like, we're cohabitating. I was like, please take me back to the doctor. I've got to get this thing out. Something's not right. And then I started having seizures. He took me in the Suburban as fast as we could go. I said, put on your hazards, because the doctor was like 55 minutes away. And I was like, just drive as fast as you can. And I said, prayers. I said, God, look after my children, because I thought I was dead. No matter what happened in between me and my husband or what is happening, he's a good father. And I prayed to God, and I walked into the room, and my husband ran up to the front receptionist, and he was like, they drug me in there. And he was like, take her back now. She's got to get this taken back. And they're like, no, she has to sit in this chair real quick. There's people. He's like, no. And finally, they walked out and looked at me, and I was totally white as a ghost. And they took me back, put me on like the hospital bed table. And the last thing I remember is it was taking so long for them to put IVs in me to put me out, to take it out, that I was praying to God. I was like, just let me go peacefully. My husband was screaming at the doctor to hurry up. And the next thing I woke up. And I am forever grateful for waking up that day. The only thing that they could think of is that what happened was that my meds weren't being absorbed correctly. Take out part of, with the Orbera balloon, basically a balloon's being placed in your stomach. Can you go get a charger for my phone? Do you mind, please?
Where is it?
I have no clue. Oh, I know where it is. It's right here. Never mind. Okay. So, no, you don't. No, hold on 1 second, y'all. I gotta charge my phone. So, okay. So we drove home, and it was like instantaneous how much better I felt. It was crazy. I mean, it took me a couple of days because I'd not had food, like, I don't know, 7 days. Like, I had chicken broth. All I wanted was a darn burger and some French fries. But I was so, I guess, overjoyed that I was able to be with my children. What do you know? A week later, guess who contacts me? Lynette. She sends me a text, and she says, heard you went through with the Orbera balloon. How was it? And I texted her back, and I said, look, it didn't work. I got really sick, blah, 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 blah. And she said, see, I told you, Dr. Michelle said it wouldn't work when you want to come to Tijuana. And I'm thinking to myself, really? Like, this is absolutely ridiculous. And I have the screenshots. And I was like, I've got to talk to my doctor again. I was like, and I didn't want to say no again, y'all. It's hard to say no. You don't understand until you're in that position. And I just said, let me talk to my doctor and I'll get back to you. Well, it was like, I can put my phone records too. Finally, I said no. That was the last time I was ever asked to speak at any convention or leadership or anything. The only other text message I ever got was, hey guys, they're doing plastic surgery down there now too. what would you like to get done? We do breast augmentations and implants. And I'm thinking to myself, just got a breast reduction, not trying to be like a triple freaking X, you know? And they said, Courtney, we can take off the chicken wing fat. They didn't say chicken wing fat, but you know that stuff right there. No.
Your wobbly bits? I like my wobbly bits.
Yeah. You wave hello and it waves goodbye. But I was, no, I don't even think I responded. I'll have to pull it up. I can't answer that for sure. Someone asked how big my team was. It was about 3,500. So that was the weight loss surgery. And I know that I was supposed to PayPal the money to Lene, $5,000. And I've since learned that there's $1,000 she gets a kickback for it. Now, I cannot personally speak for that because I did not see it happen. I didn't go down there. But obviously, you ain't doing it for free, you know. So, and Deanne is the recruiter. Lene actually did tell me that Deanne is the recruiter. And then the people that have it done are recruiters also. So, guess what? I may be fat, but I'm alive. Could have been straight in bed.
Being alive is way better than being dead.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. Sometimes, you know. So, okay. All right. I know this is going on for a long time, but
right. You want to hit up Guatemala?
Yeah. Okay.
I know a lot of people have been mixing pills, so I thought maybe you wanted to talk about that.
Yeah. Okay. During our mentor interview, they said, "Oh my God, y'all are on the next trip to Guatemala. It's in February or March." And Clay's like, "All right, cool." He's like, "I'll definitely take off for that," because they were like, "It's couples only." And I was like, anyway. So he took off from work because you have to ask off, you know, not the day in advance if you're going for over a week. And so he asked off to give him the time off. And between that time and 2 months later, I visited him office with a new recruit. And DM was like, "Oh my God, I'm so excited. Y'all are going to Guatemala in June." I was like, "No, DM, we're on the February, March trip." She's like, "No, you aren't." I was like, "Yo, we are, because remember you told us in the mentor interview, Clay, take the time off. He already got the time off." Hello? She's like, "Oh my God, I totally forgot. Josh. She's like, "Knock someone off the trip and get them on the trip." So
Shriek is just so good.
They knocked someone off the trip and put on it. And between then and the actual trip, there were some things that kind of went down, like me questioning them on some stuff. And they asked me if I was really prepared to go on the Guatemala mentors trip, that maybe I wasn't, quote, mentor material because I questioned too much, and to take a notebook with me and to make sure to talk to all the mentors there because they were the OGs. Mind you, I hit mentor really quick. So, and they said, you need to hang out with Lindsay. You need to hang out with so-and-so, and really question them because they've been through this, Courtney, and basically don't ask questions. And so we did go to Guatemala, and my husband, I will say we visited an orphanage. We bought kids gifts. We each could quote, adopt a child for a day. And that was like the biggest blessing ever. That was really awesome, I have to say. Okay. The Guatemala trip for the most was great, except for broken foot. Because, I fell downstairs shopping because that's what I do. But one of the things, and everything I say is true, because obviously otherwise there's libel, slander, defamation of character. We had 4 buses. Yeah, I think it was 4 buses. I think it was 3 and 1 was all our luggage. We probably should have had another one for my 7 bags. But anyway, Deanne was like, "We've got to go to the pharmacia." And I was like, "The pharmacy?" "Yeah." She was like, "Oh my God." She was like, "Yo, we can get anything you want. It's so much cheaper than America. You don't have to have prescription. You just get everything you want." She's like, "Xanax, Oxycontin, Percocets, blah, 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 blah." And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I take Xanax and I pay, like I told you, I'll take Xanax. Okay, fine. I'm prescribed to it. Okay, I'm monitored. But there was a lot of, uncontrolled substances that I probably wouldn't have bought down there because they're cut with things. And I know that just from being an import and export back in corporate America. So we went to the pharmacy like it was a freaking, you're going to
Candy
the zoo
store.
for the day. Yeah. And people came back with their bags. And before we got there, she goes, okay, I just want to tell y'all. She goes, so there was a mentor on the last trip that was so hesitant to go in. She was so like, oh my goodness, I can't, like, Xanax. And she goes, but don't worry. She goes, I told her, I was like, just take one. I'm not going to say her name. And she goes, y'all, she's addicted now. She loves it. She loves it. Loves it, loves it, loves it.
Bragging that you gave someone a pain pill addiction isn't cool. What?
No. And if that mentor wants to talk to me, because I was sit on the bus, I will gladly say her name to her and talk to her about it. But I was like, for real, you're going to call her out on our trip. So I didn't go into the pharmacy at that time because I had what I needed and I was prescribed to it. People called me crazy before. Well, I mean, a little bit of crazy is fun. But anyway, I mean, when you come out with shopping bags full of stuff, and I had broken my foot by that time. So I got back on the bus. And one of the home office employees were like, I got 10 milligrams of Oxycontin. Courtney, you need this for your foot. And I was like, because it's making me sick, so I don't know about Oxy. And they're like, just take it. And the guy in front of me, he was a mentor's husband. He looked at me, and I don't know if he was a nurse or doctor or pharmacist, whatever. And he said, what medications are you on? He whispered to me, and I told him. And when I was a seizure med, he goes,
sorry.
But there was so much pressure.
She did say Xanax, and that is an anxiety pill. I have taken Xanax. I had, when my father died, I did all that. I do know what Xanax is. I apologize. I misspoke. Continue.
So this is Oxycontin. This is much anyway. 10 milligrams. Most start out on 5. But the husband in front of me.
Oh hell no!
I don't know if he was I don't know what he was. I won't mention his name either. But he looked at me. He's like. But said person kept saying, just take it. Oh my God, I took one and took a 5-hour energy drink and I felt so freaking good. So they threw it back. I was in the back of the bus and y'all just saw my cohabitating husband and he's 6 foot, like, I don't know, 10. So he would have to lay in the back of the bus in the back seat. Well, they threw it back to me. Okay. And so I didn't want him to know I wasn't taking it. So I caught it. Actually, I'm pretty good at catching things. And threw it under the seat and gave it to him. So I never took the Oxycontin, and I don't know where he put it. He was like half passed out. So there's probably an Oxycontin on some bus down there, some Guatemalan. They maybe had a fun trip, but
and then
yeah, and then
customs. After you guys went shopping and then came back from the Guatemala trip, and you had to go through customs. What happened then?
Yes, I have a screenshot in here that shows where Deanne told us to say that we were buying all this stuff for our extended family. And I don't have a large family, so what I was bringing back wasn't for my extended family so that we wouldn't have to pay, taxes on it and stuff. So between myself and Clay, because I didn't want to get locked up abroad. If he did, okay, it was okay. I'm just kidding. We claimed as much as we could legally without having to be, quote, searched. You know what I mean? Like, we did it. But there were other people that did not listen to Deanne, ended up in, like, I don't know, customs jail. But I have the text where she said it. I mean, I can own my data on that. We also, while we were down there, the supplier said he makes these cow rugs, and we saw them. They were absolutely gorgeous. We paid him in cash. I have the receipt. Most of us got the cow rugs, and then he made men's belts too. He said he'd have them ready in a month, that he would give them to my dyer in Guatemala. And Deanne was like, and they'll ship it to me, and I'll ship them straight to y'all for free. Where is my cow rug?
There it is.
I don't.
That's what everybody was waiting for. It's like, oh,
my cow rug. I mean, and we had a mentors chat after we left Guatemala, and I'm not gonna like throw anyone under the bus, but it almost became a joke. I mean, that's sad when a couple $100 becomes a joke because some people bought a couple of them. Like, where's our cow rug? So eventually I texted one of the people from home office that went on the trip with us, and I was like, where's the cow rug? He's like, well, let me go ask Deanne. And he went and asked Deanne, and Deanne said she had no recollection of it. That she would ask Mark.
How many cow rugs do you think Deanne has in her house?
Well, they're in supply right now.
Is the whole house carpeted in cow? Like, where'd all these rugs go?
That in the cars and everything like that is all cow rugs and supply. Yeah, it's all, yeah. But she had no recollection of it. No. I can't even. But she would ask Mark. So Mark claimed recollection of it, and next time they went to Guatemala, they would get our cow rugs and deliver them to us. Guess what? I don't have no cow rug. No cow rug. And if anybody's in PETA, then you don't appreciate that I got a cow rug. But if you're in PETA and you have leather car seats, then you might want to check them out. But anyway, it's the whole point of it, y'all. You know what I mean? And that's why people are like, Courtney's so worried about a cow rug. I'm like, it's the point. It's the absolute point of it. So she did a live the other day going through supply, talking about her bags that she's selling now, which actually, guess what? When I left, what did I do? That's what I'm doing. She got word of it, went out, bought out my supplier, and I have the messages from him in WhatsApp because we had a translator on there that Deanne came to him and said, no sales with Courtney no more. We will not buy from you. And bought him out. And I mean, I have all of it. It's like, you can't deny it when it's on text, email, or phone, or video. Which
Everyone wants to know how they got the pills through customs. I wasn't there, so I don't know. Do you know?
The pills through customs?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the people that bought pills, if you're going to buy like 10 Xanaxes, I mean, you can bring those back through the US. That's not an issue. They have the company plane, which if you have a corporate jet and you go through customs, usually you have your paper, you declare whatever. They just walk through very easily. I mean, and to be honest, they could say that they did have a huge family because they do, and all the bags were for their 250 cousins, you know. So, I mean, they were, I guess, being kind of truthful, but they were sold. And I got that from an insider within LuLaRoe, and obviously the supplier too, that no taxes or anything were import and export fees were paid on those bags. So if you bought one of those bags at Leadership, you bought an illegal bag.
Okay, so what else here? Do you want to talk about vision? I know a lot of people have reached out to me talking about vision, and I mean, we all know kind of like what a cluster that whole thing was, but the main thing that people have reached out to me and asked about, and I know you were a part of this, was all of the ADA stuff, all of the disability. I don't know the right term, and I don't want to be like offensive, but all of the accommodations for people that had disabilities and how just almost completely non-existent they were.
Right. That was my last year was my last convention. I really didn't want to go because, y'all, I'm sorry, but traveling to California like 4 or 5 times a year, I was tired. I'm coming from North Carolina, and I'm sorry if I sound like a hick. I'm really not. I'm educated. I'm halfway smart, but it was very tiring. And especially with someone that has autoimmune issues. I had broken my foot in Guatemala, shattered my total foot, and I was in this big old boot. Myself and 2 other mentors were the only ones that were not asked to speak because we were told that we weren't living the culture. Oops. So anyway, I took it upon myself, and I have the text message to Art and Kenny, and I said, hey, I was like, there's 3 of us that would really like to. We're having FOMO. What can we do to help out? And no response. And I'm on my phone right now, so if I was good, I can read it verbatim. But anyway, the beach thing, the beach retreat or whatever, I remember getting out of the car, and I had that big boot on. My 2 friends were with me, and we walked to one entrance, and they wouldn't let us in. We were trudging through the sand. to another one. They wouldn't let. They're like, the handicap entrance is all the way down there, and I was like, dear Lord, please help Courtney and get to this entrance without beating somebody up. There's so much sand in this darn boot. I get down there, and there was this whole line of people standing outside of it, and I was like, what is going on? And they were all, you know, it was all ADA that were waiting to leave and were not happy at all. Well, the two girls I was with were like, we're hungry. And I was like, well, y'all go ahead and go on in. I was like, obviously everybody's leaving this for a reason. I cannot walk any further, right? Well, they came back out with a lettuce and a tomato each and said, well, Courtney, there's nothing left to eat anyway. Do you want a water? And I was like, all right, I'll take a water. Well, Justin Lyons came up to me. Kim and Doug Orleans were out there. I have to say, Kim and Doug did help out a lot. I know that, you know, some people have their opinions about them. I will say they were always nice to me. So Justin said to me, he goes, Courtney, can you go through and go to every person, write down their name and their contact information so we can make sure we send them something nice after this, because, you know, it wasn't really ADA, you know, accessible and everything like that. So I'm walking through. I still have the text where I was like, what's your name? Where are you from? And I'm sitting here in a freaking boot. You know, I mean, obviously there are people that are worse off than me. I got that, right? But I'm sitting here and I'm trudging and I'm thinking to myself, I will never get any accolade for this. Not that I want an accolade, but I won't even get a piece of lettuce and a freaking tomato. So when I was done trudging, I walked over to Justin and he was talking to Ben, and they were having their little talk, and I kind of stood back. Mm-hmm. And Ben looks over and he goes, who are you? And I said, well, I'm Courtney Harwood. I'm a mentor, and I was helping Justin, you know, go through the ADA and get these people names. And he goes, oh. And I said, Justin, what do you want me to do with them? He goes, just text it to me. I said, okay. No, thank you. No, nothing. And that was when I was like, peace out. So I left, called an Uber and left and went back to the hotel room. Never got in, never ordered too much room service and probably some wine. And I was really disgusted because listening to some of those people crying was heartbreaking, that they didn't have the same chance to get in like everybody else did, or the accessibility. The next day when they opened the supply shop, there was an escalator for ADA. And one would have thought when you got to the bottom of the escalator, you got into the supply shop. Oh, no. You got to the bottom, they put the ADA people in another line, and you had to like cross through another like door opening, and then you got seated, and then they let you go 5 minutes before like the mad rush, right? Well, the line at the top of the escalator, and like I said, I do have all the information to prove this. It's just up on my phone. I texted Kenny, Art, and Justin. I was like, y'all, this is ridiculous. I was like, there's a lady with a cane laying on the floor. I was like, I feel like taking my boot off and beating somebody, because there's no chairs up here for us to sit. We've been sitting here for an hour. They're like, you'll be at the bottom of the escalator soon. When we got to the bottom, same thing, no chairs, nothing. And there were people crying, and it was absolutely ridiculous. So finally Justin walks in. He goes, it's not our fault, Courtney. I was like, I didn't say it was. I said, but what I am speaking up for is these people need help. I said, I will gladly sit on the floor with this dumb boot. I mean, my foot, y'all, I have got concrete and screws in it. So when I go through the airport line, I had TSA pre-check, but I beep. Anyway, so I was like, I will sit here. I will give up anything for these people, but I cannot stand to watch the crying anymore. They finally, quote, fixed it and brought in some security guards, got more chairs and everything like that. But, I mean, there was no fix, really. And then when I saw Mark's new car parked in the handicap spot, that infuriated me. Absolutely infuriated me. Because I knew what all those people had just gone through, and then to see that, and it was just blatant. I don't even know what I don't have any words for it. I don't. There were people that were handicapped that needed those spots, and it was disgusting. I talked to a couple people whose names I took down from the ADA line, and they never received their gift, or I don't know that what they were supposed to get. Really, I didn't get anything. I didn't get a thank you. I got nothing. And I know you're not supposed to do something and expect a gift in return, but like, what about a high five? You know, hello, hello, or something like that would have been nice. But if there's someone that got something from when I took your name down, please let me know. Like, if you get a dum dum sucker, please let me know, because then we can actually give high fives and accolades to them. But that was kind of the whole ADA situation. And then I texted them after the whole convention, and I basically said this was a huge debacle, and no response.
So, and there's been a lot of people just kind of like messaging, and I think we got most of the big things that we wanted to talk about out of the way, but I know a lot of people have been asking about special perks. I know that's something that everybody's really concerned about, special perks, whether or not those exist, whether or not mentors, coaches, trainers, anyone, top 10, top 100 get any sort of special perks,
Right.
early ordering,
Right.
anything like that. So.
Okay. Yeah. No problem talking about that either. Like I said, I would not go on here if I could not, quote, own my data per Art McCracken, who told me to own it. And hey, home office, because I know y'all are on here. Hi, my old, supposedly old best friends that have dropped me now.
Hi to my friends too, who I knew are watching this. I miss talking.
I know.
I wish we were still friends.
That I'm more than willing to let out that say that, hold on, I'm a nut job and a penis and I'm crazy. But our last text between each other didn't say any of that. It was like, thank you so much for all your help. So, special perks ordering. In the first Elegant collection, we were in Raleigh I was in Raleigh speaking, and the night before they were going to launch Elegant while we were speaking. So there was a spreadsheet sent out to the mentors, and you filled it out and said what you wanted, and you got to pre-order before everybody else. That spreadsheet is real. Don't worry, y'all didn't miss out on much, because I got like 29 silver Amelias, like the Tin Man. So don't be jealous of that one, please. Okay. I still got some. If y'all want to shop my inventory, I got some. Please. Okay, because I can't return it. The mentors that went on the first trip in Guatemala, I know this for a fact. I think they went in September, and that's when the Halloween capsule launched. They were able to order in advance of the actual launch. Now, let me give credit where credit's due, or not due. But in Guatemala, the Wi-Fi is very spotty, and that was kind of the reasoning for them to be able to order first. And I kind of have to agree with that, because I saw how bad it was in Guatemala with the Wi-Fi. And another thing is that a lot of people think the mentors are the top sellers. Probably 90% are not. I cruise qualified every month, most months, but I was never a $100,000 a year seller. So most of those people that were going in and ordering when we got mentor perks to pre-order, we're not going in and ordering hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stuff. I know I wasn't. I had to pay like bills, things like that. As far as people being able to, like the top sellers, being able to order before everybody else, I personally cannot speak for that. I know there's a spreadsheet. In my opinion, it happens. I've been told it happens by other mentors, by people at home office, but I have never actually seen it, so I cannot speak to that. I can only speak to what I know I was able to pre-order and what the other mentors were able to pre-order. So there's a spreadsheet though.
What are your thoughts on negativity and what LuLaRoe deems as negativity and what we aren't allowed to say?
Okay, so in my group, my team page, I always said negativity breeds negativity, and I stand behind that still. There is absolutely no reason for anybody. Obviously, we're all in this group for a reason, but there's also, Heather and Julie have made it very clear that there's no bullying or name calling. And I was kind of the same way with my group. And I did a keep it real with Courtney. Like, I just kind of kept it real. But I did say, and I took some people out of the team page for being negative and calling people cunts and things like that. That's not okay and that's not professional. And I'm not going to apologize for that. So,
Wow.
or called me a penis or whatever. I mean, come on, y'all. Be professional, right?
Imagine if like the CEOs of
It should be
Target and
all
Walmart talk to each other like that.
right. I'm not saying it should be like all rainbows and sparkles. And most people on my team can tell you that it was not all rainbows and sparkles on my team page, right? Like it wasn't like everybody wanted to beat each other up, but it was real. Okay, it was real. And a lot of times when I would get information disseminated to me from home office, which was nil to none, I would usually wait until my sponsor or sponsor posted, and then I would put per so and so, here it is, because I didn't want to be held liable for what they were saying. But I will stand and say that negativity breeds negativity. I've seen it and I've seen it still. And like I said earlier, that's why I left professionally. I needed to lead professionally because you never know what's going to lead, on in your life. But obviously I'm having to stand up now, and all I'm doing is speaking the truth.
And we appreciate it. We absolutely appreciate it. We appreciate every single person that's come forward to stand up. We appreciate everybody that's messaged us and said, hey, I want to talk. If you have a story and you want to share it and you want to do one of these with us, please reach out to me. Let's set something up. It's strength in numbers. There's this culture in this company that makes us feel like we're not worth anything, that we're failures, that we're liars, that we're crazy. There's a lot of gaslighting. There's a lot of blame placing. Mm-hmm. If you couldn't make it, you're a failure. It's not true. There's so much horrible stuff. I mean, I had depression the way you did. I had marital problems during LuLaRoe the way you did it. I had Deanne and a group of people at convention tell me that if my husband wasn't on board, because he wasn't on board yet, that maybe it was time for me to get a new husband that was. And I was kind of like, what? And they're like, oh, we're just joking. He'll come around when he sees your checks. And I'm like,
it was all about yeah.
So when the more of us speak out and share these stories that are the same, I've never met Courtney in person, and we have similar stories. I'm in California. She's in North Carolina. We're in completely different coasts, and we have similar stories. I would love for you to contact me, send me a message. I want to hear your guys' stories. I want to be able to share this. There is nothing that we can do other than share our truth and share our stories and be together in solidarity, because that is the only way that you can take a bully down. That is really the only way. Truth will prevail. And if you're ready, please message Courtney, message me, message Sam, whoever you need to. We will be here for you. We will support you. We love you. We care about you.
Yes. And she's absolutely, if you message me though, y'all, I'm like 300 messages deep in that other folder. So it's not that I'm not meaning not to get back to you, but
yeah, it gets pretty intense. I mean, usually after we do lives, I get like 50, 60 friend requests.
Like,
and then it's
and it's just like, it's crazy. And there was one more thing I was going to say. People talk a lot of crap about the mentors. And let me just say one thing to you all. There are some good darn mentors out there that put 70 to 90 hours a week into
I had some great mentors.
I had a team in Alaska, and they were 4 hours behind me. And hopefully they appreciated what I did. Maybe some of them didn't, but I was always there for them. And I worked my ass off. Sorry, I cussed. Oops. But there's some that aren't so great. I think you find that with any company. And it's hard not to lump a group of people together, but just get to know someone. Don't call someone, oh, it's so funny, the person that said I was a nut job. I have that screenshotted the other day. I have so many texts between us. It's so funny. Like, it's so funny. If you talk behind someone's back, you better be willing to talk to their face. And people have said that about me before. Quote, real.
Wonderful.
But I don't think that's okay, because
okay, bedtime story in 2 minutes.
It's not going to do anything. So try not to lump everybody into one category if you can. I know it's hard. I know it's hard. But look at the individual and the interaction you've seen with them. Reach out to them. And you might get a totally different story, because there are some awesome, awesome people out there. And let me tell y'all, that everybody asks, are there other mentors going to quit? Most of them, a lot of them, their husbands have quit all their eggs in one basket. So it's very difficult right now. Another thing, when I quit, a team member of mine, a trainer underneath me, and it was the greatest live video she ever did, let me tell you, was like, Courtney she could not sell. She only had like 3,000 members in her VIP group. Oh my God. I mean, that sells shocks too. And I'm thinking to myself, I cruise qualified most months. I didn't sell $100,000 a month. Okay. That's not the reason I quit. I was still making good money. The reason I quit is because I couldn't freaking take it anymore. And let me tell you one more thing. I'm not afraid to admit that my 9-year-old, well, he's now 10, found me in my master bedroom closet on the floor when he came home from school, and I was having a nervous breakdown. I was crying and I was holding clothes. Okay. And I was like dry heaving. And he said, Mommy, it's time to go. And I said, go where, Jackson? He goes, go away from those people. And that he heard all the webinars, he's heard all the calls, he's heard everything. And that was my turning point, that when your 9-year-old says it's time to go, Mommy, that it's time to go. You only have so much time with them. And when the twins, they're 4 now, but they were 3. When my twin Lawson, what does Mommy say? What do the people say when they answer the phone when Mommy's company? And he goes, hello, hello. So, am I making less now? Yes.
But are you happy?
Am I happy now? I am. And I appreciate the opportunity. Too Defective to let me back in. You know, I did some things wrong. I know, Roberta, you've got to go. I did some things wrong as a trainer, as a coach, as a mentor. I will admit to that, and I'm sorry. If I ever personally offended you, just reach out to me, but reach out in a halfway decent way. Please don't call me a penis or a nut job and then reach out to me and ask. There's no like respect there. You know, let's be professional, right? But I made mistakes and I can own up to them. I'm never, ever afraid to own up to mistakes. Okay. So we're human. To err is human. Okay. But I got out.
Me too.
And people have said to me, like the cease and desist said, you're causing other people to LuLaRoe. And that was one of my, when people call me and they ask me, I give them 3 questions. I say, are you happy doing LuLaRoe? Are you making money still doing LuLaRoe? And is your ROI worth your time? If you can answer yes to everything, then you got to stay, girl. If you can answer no to everything, you might want to, you know, think more about maybe leaving and trying something else. But I've never pushed anyone to quit LuLaRoe, ever.
Same. And I say it every time, and I want everyone to know, and I will say it every time because I don't want anyone to go, Roberta's making people leave. Every single person that's come to me and said, I'm thinking about leaving, what should I do? I say, educate yourself. Educate yourself. Ask questions. And, you know, if LuLaRoe's so great, they should be able to stand up to some questioning. So ask questions, and if you don't get the answers you want or need, then maybe you make that decision based on, you know, what you think is best for you. Maybe it's leaving.
Do what's best for you. And your family.
Your family. I got my family back. I turned into a monster, and I need to go to my family because my husband's like, and I'm like, I know, okay. So I'm going to go. If you want to stay on here, you can. I'm just going to pop off, but I just wanted to say thank you to you. I love you. You're so amazing. I'm so happy that we got to finally like FaceTime with each other.
I know. And I told
you're cuter than I thought you'd be.
And I said, Roberta, you are coming to visit me in North Carolina. I live an hour from the beach where my mama just bought a boat. We're going
Yeah.
to boat.
I go boating.
Eat crab legs. You're coming. So the thing is,
I want some
too,
fried green tomatoes and sweet
I
tea.
lost my best friend like 2 weeks ago because I posted a picture of us together at Disneyland at last year's like leadership. And then 4 days later, I posted a rant about LuLaRoe on my personal page, and it upset her, and people ridiculed her. And we aren't talking anymore, or she's not talking to me, and it's hurt me to the core. But I have met some of the greatest people, like Roberta, like Heather, that are real and raw, and we can all come together and get out of the cult and start over. So don't be afraid. Stand up for yourself. Everything will work itself out. If I have to go get a job at McDonald's, then that's what I'll do for my family.
That's what you got to do.
Yep.
All right. I love you. I love everyone here. Reach out to us. We're here to support you 100%.
Thank you all. I appreciate you all.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.